Welcome back. I think this is the first time I've worn my Astros jersey. Um, I haven't done baseball content yet. At some point in time, I intend to. That is the plan. That is the intention. I will be doing baseball content. I've got all the wrestling stuff I've been doing, and now this is one of those personal videos as well. So, but yeah, eventually there'll be some baseball content on this channel. But I wanted to talk about something that it feels like everybody struggles with, and I think it's just the internet has made this so much worse. I've talked before about body image and how awful body image is now. Um, I am absolutely shocked watching all the reality shows that I watch, and I watch a lot of them because they're mindless fun, and you don't have to remember what happened last season because it doesn't matter because it's a whole new cast every year. But I am shocked at how many, and it's not just women either. How many people in their 20s are getting plastic surgery, and it's weird because I don't think it makes them look better. Like there are shows we watch where it looks like almost everybody got plastic surgery, and then an actual natural face is on the screen, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's how they're supposed to look. That's how people are supposed to look. Like watching Love Is Blind, the American version, definitely some people on there who use the Botox and stuff like that. And then when we watched the second season of Sweden, I think it was the second, is it the third? But when we watched Sweden's Love Is Blind, the first thing that I said to Yvonne when it started was, hey, these people all look normal. So I know part of it is a US thing with just the ease of access to um, various surgeries you can get to try to make yourself look how you want to. And I'm not saying anything bad about that. If that's what makes them feel better, okay. But what throws me is that we have a generation now that's seen all these people on Instagram and all these people who have this unrealistic idea of healthy and everything. Like I started watching the Liver King documentary on Netflix. About halfway through that, absolutely bonkers. Just absolutely insane. And I think the most insane thing was him saying he hadn't used steroids. The funniest thing I've ever heard. But it's one of those things that people will look and go, I want to look like that, when most of us can't. I had to admit to myself 6 years ago when I started doing the treadmill, and I do the treadmill 5 times a week. The reason I do the treadmill 5 times a week is simple. Men being heavy runs in both sides of my family. If I stop doing the treadmill, no matter what I'm eating or not eating, guaranteed I will gain weight. I would then probably be looking at potential heart troubles and things like that. And so I don't enjoy that idea. So I will do the treadmill as much as I can. I will go and play street hockey as often as I can and try to make sure I'm staying healthy. And I do my best not to use any excuses like, oh, well, I couldn't catch up with that kid coming back to back check because he's 30 years younger than I am. I don't care. Come back to back check. I do not care. I have no concern about that. And I definitely think playing street hockey helped get me into shape, but also the internet. The internet is very helpful for reminding people that we don't all look like John Cena or we don't all look like Randy Orton. And we don't. And we're not going to. I don't have the genetics for that. And then when people are like, well, you do the treadmill, but you should start lifting weights too. Look, I'm on the treadmill. I think for me to do 750 calories, it's 51 and a half minutes. I'm doing that 5 times a week, jogging 5 times a week. And I mean, my legs have never been in better shape. And I feel pretty good. I don't get winded. I remember with my dad, with my grandfather, they both got winded pretty easily at my age. I don't. It takes a lot. And generally, when I get winded, I run faster. Like, nope, I'm going to power through this and fight through this. And a lot of it is that rebellion of, I know what my DNA would do, I know what my body will do if I allow it. So I'm going to fight it. But there will always be those people online who are like, I'm not taking the word of some, fat dude that's in his basement. A, we don't have a basement because this house doesn't have a basement. And B, I don't consider myself to be fat. Do I have a dad bod? Sure. And I had to, at some point in time, realize that that was just reality now. Um, so back in 2014, when I went through a real low in my life, I lost 28 pounds in a month. And it was the smallest I had been in a long time. And I was really kind of proud of myself, not understanding how unhealthy that was. Um, I was working 7 days a week, and I was usually working 10 hours a day. And losing 28 pounds in a month is like alarm bells, don't do this, this is bad for you. But I wasn't eating and I wasn't sleeping, so that was that. And then as soon as I started being happy again, the weight came back. And the frustrating part is, and this is the truth, is that the weight will come back and you'll have extra. It's like, okay, so it's back and there's a little more. So I know that I'm never going to, look like this big svelte athlete type. But the funny part is, most of the body shaming comes from guys. I don't care about what guys think about how my body looks because I don't care. There's one person I genuinely care about how they feel about how I look, and my wife's pretty happy. She is actually quite happy. And for years, she's been like, you need to do a due to our calendar. And I'm like, I'm not doing a due to our calendar. The one thing I did tell her was if I ever did anything like that, it would just be for her. I'd have to go in and do something just for her and make my own calendar. That would have to be something for, I mean, our anniversary is coming up next month, right? But it's this goofy thing. And it's funny too, because then guys on the internet will say, well, no, women don't really, they want this big muscular, you know, bodybuilder. Generally, they don't. Some do. There are definitely some women that do, but generally, most that I know don't. There's that nice in between. They don't really want that big muscled up guy. They want somebody who is just a normal everyday person, and so I try my best to be that. And it's a struggle. Like for instance, with the treadmill, first thing that people said to me was, "Well, you can't do that. You're going to kill your knees and your ankles." Nope. I've been doing it for 6 years now. My knees don't hurt. My ankles don't hurt. My hips do from time to time. And if my hips are bugging me, I will stay off the treadmill for a couple of days, give myself a bit of a rest. Um, there are definitely little aches and pains that occur here and there. The outside of my right foot hurts here and there too, but I just jog through it. One thing I always did, even as a teenager, was, and I mean, this isn't great advice, but when I was a teenager, if it hurt, I'd run faster. It's like, okay, my body hurts right now. All right, well, you know what that means? I got to run faster. And somehow that worked. Like, it was like the muscle will go, fine, fine, I'll stop hurting. Just please slow down. But either way, it worked out pretty well for me as a teenager. But up until I was, man, I think I was 26, I was still 118 pounds. And I had been 118 pounds since I was 12. My weight did not fluctuate up or down. It didn't matter what I ate. It didn't matter how much I exercised. Nothing mattered. I stayed the same. And then Skane's genetics took over, and all of a sudden my metabolism's like, well, I'm leaving. So good luck with everything, but I'm out of here. So one thing with the treadmill is it does seem to help the metabolism. It also puts me in a better mood. So I find that on days that I do the treadmill, I feel better and I have more energy the rest of the day than on days where I don't do the treadmill. Um, Generally speaking, anyways. But again, I have to listen to my body and do what it tells me, or else I'm in trouble. And I was never one to lift weights. I remember back in middle school. I mean, I could bench. I don't remember what I benched, but I knew that with my legs I could do the whole stack. That I could sit down and do the whole stack with my legs. And I was one of the few guys in class that could do that. And I had people like, "Oh, you're cheating," and I'm like, "Nope, I'm not cheating." And they double check and, "Oh, you're not cheating." Nope. And my legs are much stronger now than they were then. Much stronger because that 50 minutes plus 5 times a week tends to make muscles ridiculous. Um, but I'd rather have, sore hips and the occasional sore muscle than a heart attack. That's how I've looked at it. That's always been the way I've looked at it. Is cardio is very very important. Um, I don't want to grow old gracefully. I want to fight it the whole way. But I also have to accept that how I look and how this all is, and even the double chin. I hate the double chin. I hate it. I don't even understand what it is. It's like my face went to rest. I don't know what part of my skin's decided to just go to rest, but it's not flattering. I know it's not. There are times where I'm going through and uploading a video, and I'll be putting in stuff, and it'll have a screenshot from the video, and I'm like, oh my god, that's the face it picked. It's part of the reason that I learned to start making my own thumbnails, and that's why I always have the goofy look of in thumbnails, because if I let it pick a thumbnail, it's going to be some picture. And I don't even remember making that face, but there it is. And it's YouTube's way of telling me you look like a goof. And so I have to make sure that's not the thumbnail. Early on with the channel, I learned. I learned with the hockey channel early that it will pick the worst look that you have in your video. And it'll be like, is this the thumbnail? No. No, that's not going to be the thumbnail. So just as like kind of a word of advice for anybody considering YouTube, do not let it auto generate a thumbnail. Just take a generic picture yourself and upload it with the video as the thumbnail, and you do not have to worry about it picking the most obnoxious and embarrassing photo you have. But I do my best with the channel to make sure that I let people know I'm just a normal everyday person, and I never like, and it's funny too because I'm aware of how big a following the main channel has, but I don't really think about it. Like I don't. Um, I try not to think too much about it because it's an intimidatingly large number, very humbling, and I still approach this and what I do as if I'm just making a video for family and friends and posting it to the internet. That is how I've approached things since 2015, and it's how I approach things now. Like I'm just making a video for family and friends on the internet. I'm careful at times about what I say because I know certain jokes I might make that I might find funny and most people would find funny. Some might not. So I'm always aware of what I'm saying, and I do a little bit of self-censoring there. There have been times where I'm making a video and I'll actually stop it and go, I can't say that. There was a video yesterday I did that with where I was like, I can't say that. It was a comment that was innocuous. It wasn't a bad comment, but it could be taken that way by a fan base. So I was like, I can't say that because if I say that, that fan base is going to hear that and they're going to go, oh, I know what he meant. And so I have to be careful. But at least there's still all the people in the comments talking about how fat I am and how huge I am when I'm not. This jersey's a medium. Jersey's a medium. The only thing I can't figure out is why my head keeps getting bigger. Which you guys can make your own jokes. I know. I walked into it. I know. There you go, of course. Barely get in the door with his head like that. But yeah, it just feels like hats that fit me a few years ago. Now they don't fit. They're too small. And I'm thinking, did my head gain weight? Because it's there's no skin. There's no so how? And it's not washing them that's done it because a lot of these I only wear like once or twice a year it seems, and so I'm not washing them all or anything, so they didn't shrink. I'm confuzzled. But there it is. I wanted to do this today because when I'm online, the ads that I get and the ads that I get to watching sports, they're obnoxious. The amount of ads for people who are overweight and you need to lose weight. And the thing that really offends me is it is the only time that you see an overweight person in a commercial. They're either the butt of the joke or it's a pill for losing weight. That's it. I've even got to the point where a commercial will start and I will turn to my wife and go, this is for weight loss. Look at the people in the commercial. And I'm right. And so, that's there. And they're telling you all the time about, ED medications, which, all the time. Because it's like they want to prey on insecurities, and it drives me crazy that they do it. And I know they do it because it works. So I just wanted to make this video for anybody who might be feeling kind of insecure and all that kind of thing, and just say, look, everybody's got a different body type. We're not all going to be built like, a Greek god or anything like that, and every woman is not going to look like some supermodel or actress. Which, one thing I want to close on is this. I genuinely find it funny when a female celebrity posts a picture, and it might be a picture of her wearing a nice gown to go out. She might be wearing a bathing suit because she's at the beach or she's doing a modeling shoot. And right away, there's the guys of, she looked better 2 years ago. She's getting kind of chunky. She's getting, and then you look at them and you're like, do you have mirrors in your house? Because I don't think you do. And my favorite is when guys will say, "Nah, I'm gonna have to take a pass." That's really gonna hurt her feelings. She was really hoping that the guy from the trailer park in Louisiana would really find her fetching and save her from this millions of dollars she makes as a model and an actress, so she can live in the trailer park because you gave her a pass. I don't. It's so weird. I don't understand the internet. I don't get it. I don't. I've been around guys long enough to know that on the women's side it's not difficult. Yvonne and I have had that discussion as well, where we were talking about our experience when we were single, and I talk about how I'd go a long time without a date or anything or whatever, and she's like, I was a girl, so all I had to do is just have a profile, and there's guys. They just show up. Sometimes they'd show up when I wasn't interested, and they'd still show up. After her and I got together, she had a couple of different people message her and go, "Hey, if it doesn't work out with him," and I'm like, "But it will." So off you pop. Uh, Off you go. Done. See you later. Bye. But just really, oh, that doesn't work out. Seriously. So, and I never had that. I haven't. It's just not there. It just isn't. But I don't have that illusion that I'm more than I am. I don't. I think, and I've talked about this before, it's where it helps that I became a YouTuber in my 40s, not when I was a lot younger. So I completely appreciate what I have and what I'm able to do for a job right now. And it's important to me that I'm healthy and I'm able to do this for as long as possible so that when the day comes that I retire, when the day comes that Yvonne retires, we're taken care of. And if anything were to ever happen to me, that she's taken care of. That is my prime concern. And so when people make some of the comments they make, I'm just like, I don't really care. Just whatever, whatever. But it does happen. So at any rate, I just wanted to say, hey, if you're a little bit overweight, if people are like, oh, you're so big, just forget it. Just no, nobody's perfect, and I think that with all the anonymity on the internet, it just makes it easier for people to poke fun and be awful to one another. I really thought the internet age was going to be fantastic. I was so excited back 25 years ago for what it could do, and now it is providing for my family. There's that side, but there's also the side that hasn't really helped when it comes to our self confidence and our self worth. The internet's been worse, and I can't imagine how it is for teenage girls coming up. That every single account you can follow on Instagram, TikTok, all of them use major filters, and it gets to the point where it's kind of ridiculous because now these women who are beautiful and by all accounts, by objective accounts, they are as close to physically perfect as a woman could get. They have to use the filters, tells these other girls, hey, even they're not good enough, so you're going to have to look absolutely fantastic. It just, and then I wonder why the Botox is as popular as it is. um I don't think wrinkles are necessarily an awful thing either. I think laugh lines are fine. The forehead lines are fine too. I don't, it doesn't bother me at all. It never did. But anyways, there you go. Enough talk from me for tonight. I hope everybody's having a good night. I hope you had a good weekend. I just wanted to talk about this today. Talked about my anger the other day, and I wanted to talk about body image. And I'm fine with my body image because my wife is fine with it. As long as she's fine with it, there you go. There isn't really anybody else that I'm overly concerned with what they would think. It would be weird if I was. I always thought that's weird with guys. Just so bizarre. I'll close with this. I find it weird how guys on the internet are all like, "Oh, this woman's running around half naked for attention," blah blah blah, and then they'll watch sports where guys are running around half naked, or they'll follow fitness gurus that they're like, "Oh, look at him, look at the chiseled abs, and look at he looks fantastic." I don't do that. I've never done that. I've never had an interest in another man's physique. I can watch wrestling and go, Dude's jacked. That's as close as I get. Dude's jacked. All right. I don't care. But it's one of those weird things that I kind of like, why do they care so much about the physiques of all these men? Why are they so obsessed with all these men's bodies? And then a woman shows some of hers, and then it's, this is awful, this is terrible. What a horrible, horrible example for little girls everywhere. Really? Anyways, there you go. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And yeah, I had some other things I was actually thinking about doing a video just about some of the things I've noticed that guys have said that I've been like, I don't know. I don't know that that's sending the message you want it to. So, but anyways, thank you guys so much for all your support. It's greatly appreciated, and I will talk to you again soon.